As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be.
Oh man, it's 8 o'clock.
And so that'll make it a.
I don't need the spotlight. I shine just fine.
Hi, I'm Karma, and yes, I am a bitch.
BravBros. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of BravBros, your favorite podcast from the bros for everybody. For whoever wants to listen, I am your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only Shooter Magooter. What's up, Shoots?
Not a lot. Back from vacation, just trying to get back into the world, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's tough to shake off, like, the post-vacation, like, rust.
Yep.
I always find that I need a buffer day, so I'll plan vacations accordingly so that I'm home and settled and I have a whole 24 hours of nothing to do because I can't go from vacation mode right back into work mode the next day.
Yeah, I feel like I need a vacation from my vacation.
Right, the buffer day.
Like, yeah, and then as I do that secondary vacation, kind of ease myself back into social situations.
Right, so you should try the buffer day.
Okay.
The buffer day is a great move, but you have to plan accordingly, and sometimes it means leaving like a day early from things.
Yeah, I feel like my buffer day was pretty much just getting home early from wherever I was and ordering food and playing video games, watching sports, and maybe a couple of naps mixed in there,
yeah,
things like that.
That's a buffer day.
Yeah,
But
I feel like that's what happens.
speaking of sports, if you haven't noticed, I have my Kelly Green Eagles shirt on. I have my new Eagles hat. I pick a new Eagles hat for every season. I wear it for the entirety of the season. If we win a Super Bowl, I'll wear it next season. Last year, we got damn close for a repeat hat year. But as we know, Patrick Mahomes paid off the refs. It was a whole thing. They paid off the sod guy, so they fucked with the turf. The Eagles got hosed. It's a whole thing. It's going to come out in a scandal, I think, this year.
Oh, nice.
They're
Little
doing
Bravo NFL crossover?
Yeah, they're doing an investigation funded by me. So far, they haven't found anything, but I'm confident.
That sounds about right. I will say if the Eagles if they have an influencer day and we don't get invited, I'm going to lose my fucking mind.
Well, how do we start to promote ourselves?
We just tag the Eagles in every clip that we do.
Just start tagging.
Anytime that one of us has any article of Eagles clothing, which will be, 95% of the episodes, pretty much from here until February, we'll tag them in it.
Well, it's going to be a mix of Phillies and Eagles stuff because there's a lot happening in the city of Philadelphia. Now, Schwarby hit a home run to lead off the game about 45 minutes ago. It's a good time to be a Philly fan in general. Isn't it always, though? Isn't it all? We're just better than everybody else.
Last year was pretty rough with the second places.
Shh.
Big second place here was not the best.
It's
It was
water
last
under the
year.
bridge. Exactly.
Talking about last year.
Yeah, it's the playoffs. But anyway, this is our midweek episode. So as you know, we got to do our power rankings. But before we get to that, I had a lovely birthday dinner last night downtown.
Oh, yeah. Everybody wish Steele a happy birthday.
I kept it under the radar for the entire day. And there's a woman at the gym that shares a birthday with me. And she came in and she was so excited. She's like, "Oh, it's your birthday." I was like, "Shh." I was like, "Shut up." I was like, "You shut your mouth." I was like, "Do not let everybody
Going out to
here
dinner
know."
with my wife. Nobody else knows what's going on, all right?
I didn't post or repost anything until the day ended, and then I reposted Dev's stuff because it was cute. And of course, I'm going to repost my wife's stuff.
Of course.
But I do not like to get any kind of praise for my birthday. I don't like the awkward, like, "Happy birthday." And then you got to sit there and go, "Oh, thanks." And
But
then
I feel like it's probably good to move on from like Facebook.
I
I feel like that's where you get the majority of people that you haven't talked to in 15 years. And I don't know how the fuck they still know. Because I remember back in the day, they used to prompt you and say, "Oh, it's Steele Russell's birthday. Reach out to him and say hello."
yeah.
But now it's just like you really have to go digging deep. Or you have a calendar with people's birthdays on it, which I know people that do that too.
I know people that do that, but I also think it's weird that, just
Yeah.
because we were acquaintances or maybe we friended one another like 10 years ago, I don't reach out to people I don't know and go, "Oh, happy birthday, stranger."
Yeah, because then you're obligated to respond. And if you don't, then you're the asshole. It's just a mixed up world, and I don't want any part of it. You
You
know?
know what? Public service announcement. Stop wishing people happy birthday if you don't know them. If
Yes.
you are Facebook friends but you don't know the person, put it this way. If you don't know the person's mother's name,
No. If you haven't spoken to the person outside of a happy birthday post in the last 5 years, just don't.
5. Okay.
Five's a cutoff.
Five's a
I feel
good
like.
five's a
Yeah.
good cutoff. Five's a good cutoff. All right. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's move on to some news. And the first thing I want to talk about is Erika Jayne's show. Now, if you've been paying attention to social media, you might have noticed that ticket sales seem to be down because they're selling tickets for. I saw one post for $7. I saw another post for $1. I'm not giving too much merit to that. It could be true.
It's probably true, but this is my question. What does a residency actually mean? How many shows is she doing? Multiple shows a day?
Residency to me says one show a day.
That's what I would think,
5
right?
days plus a week.
Okay. If Billy Joel was out there doing residency shows, which he does, I think he did it at Madison Square Garden last year, sure, you're going to get high ticket sales. You're going to have higher ticket prices. It's Erika Jayne. It's in Vegas. Nobody...
Wait,
I'm not even really
throwing... have a residency at Madison Square Garden.
He had it last year.
Isn't a residency? That's a recurring thing.
It's like a month-long residency.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was there. He was there Monday through Friday, I believe, or maybe it was like Tuesday through Saturday with Sunday and Monday off.
Gotcha. All right.
And he went every night, and it was awesome. She's kind of catching a stray in all of this, but it's Erika Jayne. Like Tuesday, 7:00, and you're in Vegas. Sure, yeah. If tickets are $1, I'll be like, yeah, I got nothing else going on. I lost all my money on roulette. I'll go over and check out Erika Jayne for a little bit. I'm probably not staying for the whole show. I'm probably leaving because I again went for $1. But she's not going to raise these huge ticket prices. People in the Bravo world act like she's some huge superstar. She's not.
I think I'm going to play devil's advocate here, kind of leapfrogging off of what you're saying. In order to know how bad it is to charge $7 a ticket, what do other residencies of a similar scale to Erika Jayne, what are they charging?
I think that's the problem.
You know what I mean?
I don't think that there are residencies on a similar scale to Erika Jayne because she is only big because of Bravo.
No, I understand.
She got the residency through Bravo.
But I'm saying as far as, let's just say, venue size, period. Like other venues that, because I saw the map of her venue, it's not massive. So I wonder, other venues of that size that are doing a residency.
Probably the same, I would imagine.
They're charging $7 tickets?
Yeah, probably.
Can somebody do some digging for us?
It's also not a price-controlled thing. I'm sure that
Fluctuates.
The post that I saw was like StubHub or Game Time or whatever, one of those apps. So people are just kind of selling them off, and like maybe they bought the entire month thinking, "Whoa, this could be a big hit around BravoCon." Like as people start to gear up towards that, I'll be able to charge more for them. Let me just get these first couple out of the way. Could be something like that. I really don't know how that works.
I feel like there's more to this story than just she can't fill seats all the time. I don't know though.
What is she? Is she singing, dancing? Like I guess.
I would say it's a singing forward show. She's a singer and a performer, so I'm assuming it's performances of her songs. Maybe a couple of covers in there, maybe a couple of dance routines, and there's got to be a moment where she breaks it down and goes, "All right, everybody, let's chat for a minute," and then whips her hair, and then like sits down in a chair and gets deep.
That's pretty good.
That's kind of what I think.
Really good impression.
That's my Erika Jayne. That's my EJ.
Look, I mean, if it's a Wednesday night and there's not a lot of people there, and she's looking to the audience, and she does something like that, like. It's got to be kind of a mood killer, right?
I don't know, man. I think we've talked about it for too long.
I know. This is just me trying to wrap my head around it. I'll need more. I need video footage of what it's like. And I don't want that bullshit propaganda where it shows a sold-out show, and then it's a weird cut, and then all of a sudden Erika Jayne's on stage.
Right.
Give me a real glimpse of what it's like.
Somebody from like the mid-level give us like a scan of the room.
Yeah, it's got to be from a phone. I also don't want Erika Jayne posting it out because if she reposted it, it's probably fake too.
And a review. I would love a review from an unbiased fan.
Breakdown.
Yeah. Not Zach, because he loves Erika, so it's not. I don't think it's unbiased.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Anyway, other than that, and this is gonna kind of leapfrog us into Atlanta. Obviously, the other news being RHOSLC is back. We are covering that on Friday's episode, so we're not going to dig too far into it now. I will say the reception seems to be solid. People seem to like it.
People are happy that it's back. We'll see how it goes.
Do you think that it got a better reception because the other shows are so down this past year? That I think
Isn't that how it always happens, though?
Well, I think that like they have a golden opportunity here to make an actual comeback. If they had to go up against much stronger shows, like if Bravo had a better showing as far as like, that's what's weird. I guess the views have been up for a lot of shows just because of the scandals, but as far as the content they're putting out, I would say it's not the best seasons. Even Atlanta, which we enjoyed, everyone's saying was not their best season, to the point that they're talking about a reboot now. I think that Salt Lake is at the perfect time to try to jumpstart everything because everything else is kind of meh.
I think that we actually talked about this just because Steele and I were trying to figure out logistics, which we are not good at.
No, we're not.
And it's going to be a tough road ahead of us, honestly, because I think Southern Charm airs tonight or tomorrow night, Thursday night. So we're gonna have Southern Charm in there. We're gonna have RHOSLC in there. We're going to have, I guess, the tail end of Atlanta. Did we ever get confirmation on how many reunions there is?
There's only 2. It's a 2-parter.
Okay. All right, cool. And then obviously we've got the tail end of OC that's going to be coming out, and then their reunion. That'll kind of throw us into everything else with Beverly Hills coming back in November. So we were trying to figure out logistically where everything works. But what I will say is we've been doing this for over a year now. How many times have we gone through a show and we're like, all right, we're just ready for it to be over. It was okay, and then it stunk, and now we're bored, and now we've got the reunion, and there's 7 parts to get through, and then there's something else behind the paywall that we need to talk about then. And then we start watching something like OC.
Right.
First 3 episodes of OC, we're like, this is such a nice change up. This is fun. This is great. By episode 4, 5, 6, and 7, I was ready to jump off the ship.
I don't think we made it that deep. I think it was episode 2. We both were like, no.
Well, I think yeah, I know that's actually true. I think we did go through episode 1 and 2 in the first review that we did.
Yeah.
And then the third one, we're like, all right, we'll see. And then, and then I think it quickly fell off a cliff from there. But I feel like that happens with every show. Like, we get kind of tired of them because they drag them out too long and there's too much bullshit.
Atlanta we got through without getting...
Atlanta's fine. I have no issues with Atlanta at all.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm excited for Salt Lake. I'm glad it had a good reception. I hope they have a good comeback season. I felt like an idiot last year. All I did was talk it up. We finally got to watch it. It was your first time watching it, and it was awful.
It wasn't, and that's the funny thing is the first couple episodes that were pretty good too.
They were fine, yeah.
It's just they go down these weird paths, and I do think that Bravo needs something like Salt Lake because it's different. Like, yes, I mean, for the most part, they're still arguing about the same shit, but as far as the lifestyle, it's a little different with the Mormonism that comes into everything.
I want to know more about
We need more about the Mormon stuff because that's going to differentiate it from something like Beverly Hills. Like, yes, we've got money. We've got fuck you money as well. Okay. What are we doing differently? Not a whole lot, honestly.
They got fuck you Mormon money, which is
which is huge. I mean, that's religious money. So I don't know. I really do hope that they do well because 1, it's good for Bravo. 2, I think they've got some good people on the show, and obviously Mary Cosby coming back is going to help a lot. So we'll just see where it goes, but I'm cautiously optimistic.
I think that's a good way to put it. And then the last thing is there's some evidence coming out now that Courtney from Atlanta, cousin Courtney, unverifiable cousin Courtney, had a residence in Tampa.
Did you stop yourself from saying residency?
I did.
Okay, all right,
residence.
Yeah. See, I didn't know what to make of this though. Like, that was so what? Like, Ralph was apparently going to Tampa. I don't give a shit.
I have theories that we'll get to later.
You think they're hooking up?
I have
cousin
theories
action?
we'll get to later. Leave it
Well,
there. Because first we got to talk about
like
RHONY.
her residence was in Alabama.
Hey. See, it's always safer in that to just say Texas because I'm from Texas, so we can just lean on the, Steele's from there. It's not that bad.
No, I do not care.
Sorry to our Alabama fans. He's JK. But we're in RHONY, or we're back with RHONY, and once again, love the episode. I love this show as a whole. I've thoroughly enjoyed since episode 1. There's been, I think, 1 episode where I was kind of like, but even then it wasn't bad. I think that was like the 3rd one, maybe.
It was, like the 3rd or 4th one kind of just thrown in the middle. It wasn't bad.
It was fine.
Because I think we're so used to that something being bad because we're annoyed by something that's been dragging on for too long. Really, that's our only gripe with these shows.
That's actually a good point.
Is when something drags on for too long and we're like, all right, enough. They haven't done that. They kind of nip things in the bud and then start something else. And it might be between the 2 same people and it's just kind of stirring more things up. But for the most part, they do a pretty good job of cleaning up and apologizing and doing this and that. So nothing really to complain about. I've been enjoying it.
That's a good point. You know what I loved about this whole episode?
What's that?
They started out with Thursday, December 22nd.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, we got a timeline. And then even later, they did a 2 weeks later thing. This is
there were a lot of things to go into. Like Jenna said that she had her surgery on January 3rd.
Yes.
Like it was so easy to follow.
Timelines.
Give me the goddamn timeline. Now I know.
Fucking timeline.
We have 1 episode that encompasses before Christmas and then well after Christmas because they don't go to, they go to Antigua or Anguilla? Anguilla?
So, Anguilla, which I thought it was.
I thought it was Anguilla. It definitely is. It's double L.
But everyone said Anguilla.
I don't know if I trust them.
I don't know. But they are much more likely to go there than we are. They have money, so that means they've been there.
Well, they flew coach. How much money do they have?
More than us, dude. More than us. But let's jump into it. We start out with Sai and Uba. We finally have Uba back. Thank God.
Yep.
We need Uba back in our lives. She is COVID-free. And what I want to touch on from this scene, I love the fact that Uba, who is a supermodel, Uba, who is in high fashion frequently, openly admits, like, yeah, when I shop on my own, I'm kind of clueless. I
Yeah.
loved that.
Yeah.
She's not faking it, like, oh, I know exactly what to get. She's like, no, I have designers. It's tailored to me exactly. Like, I don't usually have to go shop for myself. So I'm kind of like, help me out. That's
Yeah.
kind of cool to
It's
hear.
relatable. It's weird to see like a model like that be relatable.
Yeah, I know. I really enjoyed the fact that she said that. But what I did not enjoy about this scene, I'm confused. All right. So this is the first time, and it's talked about multiple times throughout this episode, but this is the first reference to the gift bags that Jenna gives out.
Mhm.
In those gift bags, there's a lot of collabs. So she does a lot of collaborations with a lot of companies. I'm assuming with nice companies, and it's nice shit, but it has her name on some of the boxes. And Sai complains about the gift bags because of the collabs, implying that Jenna's trying to push her shit on them so they'll post about it, and like that's Sai's job. She gets paid to post about things. So while I understand that, what I don't understand is, do you think that Jenna needs you to promote herself? Because I don't think she does.
I don't think she would
Jenna's
be doing it if
bigger
she,
than all of them.
I think she needs it.
You think Jenna needs
Yeah,
it?
I think so. I think it's because it's not Jenna Lyons, J. Crew collabed with another big brand. It's always Jenna Lyons with, and then pretty much name redacted. Like we haven't seen one other name on the collab. So I think she's trying to do this as kind of like her side thing, and she's doing a couple other things, whatever. I think they do kind of explain it at the end when they say that she posted it on Instagram. She did a boxing video and she threw it in there and she took a second to say, "This is my collab with whoever, blah blah blah," and then she tagged all of them in it. She wants
don't
them to
think-
repost it. Otherwise, why are you doing it?
I agree with that. I agree that like she wants some kind of repost, but I don't think that it should be painted in this severely negative light. Like she's still giving you free shit, and in that one box of stuff or the bag of stuff, there was one thing out of like the 10 things in there that was Jenna Lyons related. I don't think that it's worth. I don't know.
I think size giving perspective. I'm not really even because again, like yes, if somebody just gave me gifts over and over again, and at the bottom of it, it was something that they're working on. It's like all right, whatever. Like yeah, I'll support a friend. I don't really care. But Sai's giving a little bit of perspective, and she's noticing that every single gift that she gives always has some sort of collab in there. That's something that she did, something that she's worked on. It's not a passion project of hers; it's a business.
Do you think that it takes away from the genuineness
Yes.
of the gift?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so for sure. And I think that, look, I'm not like a huge Sai supporter. I feel like she kind of gets on my nerves a little bit. But after seeing exactly what she does, this is exactly what she does. This is how she earns a living. So now she's kind of bringing that whole world into a gift. Now, look, if I was giving you a gift all the time, and every time that we had like dinner or something together, I brought something over and yeah, I threw something in the bottom of it. As long as neither of us has to post it, nobody really cares. Who gives a shit? It's fine. It's
But she
whatever.
didn't say post it.
I know, but if I posted a boxing video of, hey, I'm gonna bring this over to Steele's house, and then I threw something of mine in there that like I really wanted you to do and tagged you in it,
You think it's
you're gonna
tacky?
feel obligated. Yeah, it's tacky.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't have a huge
see-
issue with it. That's like
Maybe that's where I'm at. Yeah.
they have a sticking point again because they have a show and they want to talk about these things and they kind of
Right.
have like issues with Jenna overall with some of this shit. But yeah, something like that, I feel like it would kind of irk me.
Okay. I can see both sides of it. I think the big thing for me that I couldn't get over is the way that Sai and then Brynn talks about it later about them wanting to push it to their followers. I'm like, Jenna doesn't need you guys to promote herself, really. Like, Jenna Lyons is.
We don't know
she-
that.
I don't know, dude. I guess
I know
not
she's big, like we
specifically,
are.
but
Yeah, we know that she's big, she's cool, but she's not, Gucci. Like, yeah, you don't need to push Gucci on people. Like, if it's a Gucci collab, sure, whatever. But
I
it's
don't
a
know.
Jenna Lyons collab.
Maybe
It's
we're-
not a J. Crew collab or whatever other big company that she wants to work for.
I could be reading too far into it. But
Maybe.
the next
I think
thing,
you're just a Jenna supporter.
I turn a little bit this
Yep.
episode.
Mm.
Yeah. But the next thing they discuss is Erin being upset, and this pisses me off. And this is why with Sai repeatedly week in, week out, it's 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. Uba even says to Sai, yeah, that's shitty.
Yeah.
Period. You shouldn't have left. Order a pizza. I love that move. Is it like, would it be a little weird for, like, let's say, just for the sake of this being easy, Domino's walks in with a pizza. I understand if you're in New York and you order Domino's pizza, fuck you. But let's say Domino's walks in with a pie. Yeah, I'm sure people would have something to say. But to Uba's point, at least you're staying.
Yeah. I think Sai's biggest problem in this and the other issues that we've had with her so far, which have all been food centric, weirdly, if she just explained it instead of nagging, instead of complaining, like just explain where you're coming from. If you ordered a fucking pizza and they walk into the party and you have to run out and grab a pizza, come back in and Erin comes over and she's like, "Why'd you get a pizza? There's food here."
Starving.
And then explain it and say, "Hey, I'm starving. I'm a pescatarian. I can't eat this. I decided to get a pizza because I didn't want to leave and be
Perfect.
rude."
Great.
If Erin had an issue with that, we would all look at that and be like, "All right, Erin, shut the fuck up."
Yeah,
Like,
Erin,
let it
settle
go.
down.
Relax. She stayed. She's good. She didn't say goodbye. That's the biggest thing.
And
They all said hi to her like 30 seconds after Sai was leaving while they were splitting off to go say hi to Erin. It's not like she didn't have an opportunity. She's making it out to be like Erin's the asshole, and I have an issue with that too.
The biggest issue is that Sai goes, "I apologized." When?
No, she didn't.
You actually vehemently did not apologize.
Yeah.
You made a point to say, "I'm not sorry," multiple times, that you don't give a shit, essentially. And then you lie to Uba on TV
Yep.
again. And maybe they'll learn, like, as they get into this more and more. It's their first season. But, like, hey, microphone, camera, we're going to see
How would
it.
that not be? Like, if you were in one of these shows, wouldn't that be in the back of your mind all the time?
That's when I always
I'd be
wonder.
afraid to talk.
I wonder if they say certain things, and as soon as it comes out of their mouth, they go, "Fuck."
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, probably.
I hope so. But the next scene we get is Jenna and her brother Spencer. He's in from California, and they're walking around Rockefeller Center. And this is to my point. This is a credit towards me, I think. Not me, Steele Russell. Just
Crediting
like,
yourself.
no, to like my argument. Let me clarify. Jenna Lyons is part of like rehabbing the Rockefeller Center area. Like
Mhm.
she's big enough to be helping out with a project of that magnitude. That's where I start to question, like, does she really need Brynn and Sai to repost her shit? Like, she's big enough to the point where she is helping out with decorations for the Rockefeller Christmas thing. She's helping out getting stores into Rockefeller Center to make it more approachable of an area, to make it more like revamp it.
Maybe you'll agree with this.
Okay.
Picture it this way. She doesn't need it, but she wants it
Okay.
because Jenna cannot turn off the businesswoman inside of her.
That's a really
Everything she
okay.
does is a business play.
That I fuck with that.
Okay.
Okay,
Cool.
that one that resonates. Thank you.
That just popped in. So yeah, there we
that's
go.
good. I like that. All right, we're
There you
same
go.
page. The bros are on the same page today. Good, but she's talking about she's never been on a girls' trip, and we've heard this before. This is technically the first real one because a drive up to the Hamptons is different than taking a flight to. We're gonna have to figure out how to call it. Like what to call Anguilla.
Anguilla.
Let's call it Anguilla for now because they're calling it
It's gonna
Anguilla.
be
There's
wrong.
no way that's right. It doesn't even feel right, but maybe it is. But they're talking about going to Anguilla, and she's talking about how she's insecure about her skin, and we've already heard that she has a genetic disorder where she has splotchy skin, and she does not like the look of it. We find out later that it's also her teeth like fall out. Like she has a lot of things that she has to deal with, and obviously a lot of sympathy there. But as we get into it more and more, and obviously when we get to the trip later, and the fact that she goes a couple of days early, while I do think that she obviously has to deal with all of these things, and it's a big issue that she has in her life, and it's really difficult, and I'm sure it leads to an immense amount of insecurities, and understandably so, I would be insecure too. That being said, she looks fantastic. She always looks great, and she carries herself very well. But to me, it feels like after watching later that this was an opportunity to set herself up to look better when she ends up not going early and kind of does her own thing. I feel like Jenna is more calculated, and as the girls all point out, much more of a diva than we actually think she is.
I think that is absolutely true. I think she's way more of a diva than we've been presented to see for the first 7 episodes.
Mm.
However, I don't really have an issue with her going early as
I
it
didn't
is.
either.
I have
didn't
no
either.
issue at all because one, I don't think that any of the women are actually giving her sympathy on this because they're so honed in on the fact that she wanted to go early or she decided to go early because she found a business class seat instead of the coach seat. Secondly, if I had Jenna Lyons money, you think I'm fucking sitting in coach on a 3-hour flight to Anguilla?
Well, here's the
No
difference,
chance.
and I think this is what gets kind of lost in the sauce a little bit. Sai actually calls attention to it later, and rightfully so. I do not think the issue is going early. I do not think the issue is her taking a business class flight. I don't think the issue is anything that she did. I think the issue is
Not verbalizing it.
yeah,
upfront.
and that it kind of relates to everything she does. You know, when she had the Christmas thing and decorating her tree with her kids, hey, just say that.
Yeah.
You can tell them that you're decorating the tree and you don't want to go to this event. That's a reasonable excuse. This is also, hey, I'm going to go down a couple days early and hang out. I'll meet you guys down there. I'm going to take a business class flight. I'll see you when you get there.
I think that part of the issue is she decided, and we saw that in that moment when Erin comes over and brings her soup. she confides into Erin, and she even says, like, I've seen friend Erin, now I'm seeing mom Erin, I really want her to, like, give me a hug, whatever. I think she was confiding in Erin. Erin spun the choice to make it a shady.
I liked it.
I think it's good. It plays
I
for the
liked
show.
it. It plays for the
Certainly
show.
plays for the show.
It also tells me that somebody that I thought has been so far up Jenna's ass to try to get on her good side, I'm like, okay, Erin, like you want to stand
the
alone
response
a little
too
bit.
when she got called out right away because Sai brought it up later. She goes right there and she's like, Erin told us that.
She's like,
and
yeah.
Erin's laughing.
Yeah.
Because she knows what she did, and I think that that's entirely fine. I also think, and this maybe I'm not wrong, maybe I'm not right about this, but I do think that Jenna needs moments like this where she gets called out like that.
I
Because
firmly
this is
agree.
putting your ass to the fire.
Yep.
Hey, you're in a group of women right now. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to talk about each other. If you confide in one of us that you didn't like something, we're going to tell the other person, or we're going to give you the opportunity to do it yourself. When you don't do it yourself, we're going to tell the other person, and you're going to go on roast in front of everybody. Just get with the program, figure it out, and I think this is really going to kind of push her, and we're going to be able to see towards the end of the season whether she kind of keeps that rolling or if she stays in her own shell. If she stays in her shell, she's going to have a hard time.
I firmly agree. That's well said. The next scene that we have is Brynn and her brother Daris, and they're hiking in LA randomly. So I guess they meet in LA. He works in Seoul, Korea at an English school, and they meet halfway in LA because she's from New York. It actually weirdly makes sense.
It works out. Geographically, it works out.
But they're going on a hike, and it's interesting, and I'll always be interested in Brynn's backstory and hearing about kind of the juxtaposition of how her brother handled it versus how she's handled it, and they both seemingly are doing well considering, right?
Yep.
They're doing pretty well given the challenges that they faced growing up. But she credits him a lot with, like, you're able to handle yourself so well and blah, blah, blah. He very quickly is like, I just compartmentalize better.
Yeah.
The only difference between me and you is I bury it better than you do. And they both admit, like, yeah, if I got married, I'd be divorced 3 times by now. He's like, yeah, me too. And that's the part of this that I had not really dove that far into, is how her family relationships as a child is affecting her relationships now. And it seems like such an obvious one that I should have put together earlier. But once they brought it to light, then I was like, oh, duh. This makes so much sense why she gets so close to marriage, why she gets so close to taking the next step, and then is like, oh, fuck, I need to back off. And she says it too. That's scary given what her experience is with family. Family means run.
Right. Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. And I don't think that we even sat here over the last couple of weeks and condemned her for anything like that.
No, not at all.
Because we at least try to operate from a perspective of we don't know the full story.
Mm-mm.
Hey, we're getting a little bit of information. Thanks for sharing. We're not going to rip you apart and start digging into it and be like, well, you can't commit and that's your problem there. Like, no, we're not going to do that. So we're going to sit here and we're going to actually analyze the situation and let things come out as they will.
Yep.
We didn't know everything that was going on, and now we kind of put those two together, and there it is. There you go.
We're-
Now, if we want to analyze her friendships because of that, you could do that because that's the most that we're getting. Now, I don't really know. We don't have enough information to do that quite yet, but
We're getting there.
She's not bad. We're kind of getting a feel for how Brynn operates and how her psyche works. She seems to be one of those, she gets really upset, but then she even says, I can't be upset at you when you look that good to Jenna. When she was pissed at Jenna before she walked in the door.
She was
then
even
she's not.
trying to stay pissed because she's like, I can't ever stay mad because she does the baby voice.
Yeah.
And it does the clips of all the baby voices. Like,
Yep.
oh, yeah, I never even noticed that.
And that's fine too, because we also see the way that she thinks about situations. Like she pissed off Erin. She expects to be forgiven almost instantly because she's cute.
Yep.
And that's what she does. And the funny thing is, Erin has forgiven her a couple of times because she's cute. Like it works out, I guess. And
It does work.
It doesn't bother me. It doesn't piss me off because all of these issues that she has, whether it's her being the perpetrator or not, they don't really bother me to begin with. So
You
I'm
know
happy
why?
that we're not harping on them and people
Right.
just forgive her right away.
That's why it
I
works.
think that's the key.
That is the key
Yeah.
because in other franchises, we would be stuck on this shit. Like Drew accusing Courtney of calling her a bitch for the last 4 episodes when no one cares, man. Everyone calls each other a bitch on that show. On all the shows, they call each other a bitch. That was such a non-point. In this show, in RHONY the reboot, if it's something dumb, they are able to get over it because, you're cute, fuck it, whatever.
Yeah, no,
That's
and
great.
I think that the only thing that's going to last from all of this, at least the past couple of episodes, is Brynn flirting with Abe.
Yeah.
Because that's going to have to come back while they're in Anguilla.
But they need to address that because
They have to. I fully agree
We'll
with
get
that.
there.
I think, and I think that Aaron does have to address that, and I think that they will.
yeah, and we'll get to that. But But we get the 2 weeks later thing, and all Bravo shows take note, start giving us more timelines, and I want to jump directly to Jessel and Pavitt. We actually get, because we've been pretty hard on Jessel up until this point, right, in her relationship with Pavitt. We have not gotten to see, and, I will admit when we jump to, not a conclusion, but when we don't have all the evidence, and maybe we go a little bit harder than we should have, because we get to see something from Pavitt here. I did not like Pavitt in this scene.
No,
At all.
I couldn't figure it out.
No, it was bizarre. And I was like, okay, well, we were quick to jump the gun with Jessel, and rightfully so in a lot of ways. Like, I didn't love how she talked to him, but we're seeing the other side of it now. It's like Jessel's going on the girls' trip to Anguilla. Can we call it something? Can we have a nickname for it?
Call it Anguilla. We're right. There's no way we're wrong about this.
Bang, bang, ang. That's where we're going.
Harder to say. Anyway, go on.
We're going on vacation, and she's going with the girls on this trip for a few days. Pavitt's like, I'm going to Vietnam for a few days.
Alone.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Weird.
Like, and then she's like, for what? He's like, just to go. It's like, well, you don't do that.
3
though.
days?
You don't.
20-hour flight? You're going to go for 3
But
days?
what's the reason? If I
There's-
told Dev,
For a banh mi sandwich.
if I told Dev, by the way, I guarantee you, it may not be as good as Vietnam.
Probably really good,
It's
though.
quite close.
Yeah.
You're in New York City. There's going to be a fantastic banh mi shop there. I promise you. I promise.
Probably
Yelp
get it from a street vendor.
That's the problem. They don't know the New York City.
Oh, that's a good
because
point.
They're from Dallas,
That's
so
a
he
good
doesn't know
point.
where to get banh mi.
Then
So
go to Dallas.
No,
No problem. Go to Fort Worth.
he's gonna go to Vietnam for a few days to blow off some steam. I don't understand how he can like get away with just saying, "I'm just gonna go." If I told Dev, I'm gonna go on a little trip. Just I need to unwind. I'm gonna go by myself. Okay, where are you going? Vietnam.
Yeah.
What?
I'm going to Florida to go sit on a beach and drink a little bit. I'm going to Anguilla to go
You're
sit on the
still-
beach. I'm going to the homeland. I'm going to go fly over to Ireland and go sit around there and eat some potatoes all day. People got mad about that.
You're gonna piss somebody off again. We got so much shit for that one comment you made about a potato like a month ago.
Tell me I'm wrong.
But my point is, even if I wanted to go to Florida for a few days alone,
Yeah.
and I told Dev that, she'd be like, that's fucking weird.
It is.
And I would agree. If Dev told me the same thing, I'd be like, why? Who are you going to meet? That's weird.
Yeah.
I don't like Pavitt.
But he doesn't. That's the thing is, at least if he had some hobbies or something, then I was like, oh yeah, maybe he's meeting family or something.
Maybe he's looking at an investment.
Maybe other people are going. Yeah, looking at an investment. I'm gonna go. There's a really cool golf resort I'm gonna stay at for a
Right.
couple of days.
All
and
right.
just kind of like
We're going on a
unwind
golf
out there.
trip, right?
Sure. There's got to be a reason. You can't say it's for food.
Bond me.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, bond you, buddy.
I actually thought. There you go. Nice. I actually thought that Jessel handled this quite well. I think that
I
she
did
was.
too.
I think she was as confused as we were,
But she
and
was
she
calm.
didn't. She didn't even like rip him apart like I expected. She just walked away and she's like, "You're ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't understand what's going on here."
And he is ridiculous, and I don't understand either.
I bet he doesn't actually go.
I think he's going to.
Really?
I think he's
We
going
might
to.
not
and I
hear
think
about
it's
it
gonna be
again.
a big sticking point. No, I think we're going to come back to it. I don't think this is like
Okay.
the last we're going to hear of it.
If we
but
don't hear of it, we'll go on his socials and we'll see if he
I
wants.
like that.
'Cause he
But
definitely
the-
posted a picture of him with a sandwich, like, oh.
He better have after all that. But my biggest problem is at the end of the conversation, and hopefully this was like a one-liner and they cut the rest of it. But she's like, "Well, I'm here alone. Like my mom's out of town. What am I going to do?" He's like, it's your problem.
Yeah.
It's your problem to figure out what to do with her 2 kids who are not easy children to take care of, as we've seen. What do you mean it's your problem? No. If you are going to take it upon yourself to fly to Vietnam, which takes a day in itself to get there, but as he says, flying's like a vacation in itself. No, it's not. If you're going to take the time to do that, you need to line up childcare. That's the least you can do for
Yeah.
your wife. And I didn't like that. And hopefully he was joking there, and like 5 seconds later he says, "I'm kidding, like we'll get a nanny for the week," or something like that. But if that's his actual response, that's horrible. And we need to rethink everything with Pavitt and Jessel, and maybe they just need to go their separate ways.
Yeah. I
Like,
know.
honestly.
I was thinking that too. I'm like, oh, I don't really like this
You
relationship
guys
at
aren't
all.
doing,
Not
it
doing
doesn't
anything
seem
right.
great. But let's get to Anguilla. The house is incredible. The house is absolutely incredible. I thought immediately it looked like Greece, and they
Yep.
even pointed that out. It does look like a Greek, like cliffside, but the house is beautiful, and everyone's picking out their rooms. 2 things, 2 big positives once again for Jessel. 1, she packs the lingerie, says, "I lost some weight. This is cute. Maybe I'll wear it." I love that she has the self-awareness to be like, I fucked that original interaction up. Let me pack the lingerie and like give this another chance here.
Yeah.
Big move forward.
She's also trying to talk to Jenna a little bit more, little one-on-one action. You know what
Yep.
she's going to do. This is the move. I know that this already happened, but Jessel, if you're listening, the move is take the lingerie out, put it on your bed one night, call Jenna in to have a conversation, and then just
Oh, it's
see if
just
she
there.
notices.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
I like
you don't even have to
that.
wear it.
But the
Like,
other
yeah, I was thinking about putting this on, but I don't know if it's the vibe tonight, and then just put it away. Boom,
that's a
done.
good call.
Yep.
The other positive she gets when there's like someone has to share a room, first one up. I'll do
Yeah.
it. No
well,
problem.
Uba was the first one up.
Uba was,
Then
but
she agreed.
but
Actually, I think Uba said Jessel will stay with me.
Oh, did
And
but,
Jessel said, yeah, all right, whatever.
but the fact
But
that she didn't put
complain.
up a fight,
Yep.
she's like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like
Yep.
I like that. Those are big things, especially when you're coming off as a difficult person to get along with.
Mm-hmm.
Massive step forward for Jessel.
Make
So
some
good
friends.
job. You had a good episode, Jessel. Keep it up. All right. I know I'm going to put my foot in my mouth. I know it's going to happen next
Nah,
week.
I think you're okay.
We'll see. But this is when the girls are recapping about Jenna, and Erin's giving the rundown of what happened the day prior or a couple days before, whatever. And they're talking about how she was going to come down to get a tan because she wanted to get her skin right because she feels insecure around the other ladies. And here's the thing. When you set it up that way, it's really hard to assume you're going down for anything else because that's very personal and nobody's going to question that because that'd be a dick move to question it. However, when you immediately follow it up with, I don't want to fly coach, that's when you're going to get issues with the crew. And I understand from Brynn's standpoint where it's, it's a girls' trip. Part of the trip is everybody traveling together. It's a whole thing. And that's where it's so easy. Had Jenna been like, I'm going a couple days early, I don't want to fly coach, they would have given her some shit,
Yeah.
but that would have been the end of
I
it.
think her wording is the biggest
That's
issue
the problem
here.
with
Like
everything she does,
between
though.
everything she does, it's either too wordy or she does some weird joke that only she gets. Like I don't understand why she worded it that way when she was talking to Erin. She could have just said, "Yeah, I wanted to go down a couple of days early and then go through the whole tan thing, go through the whole skin thing. Okay, great." And then say, and it's a nice plus that it's business class and I don't have to fly
Boom.
coach. Boom, done. Erin might try to still spin that and say, well, I think that the real reason she came down is because she didn't want to fly coach and she found one a couple days early. But then you can at least combat that a little bit
Yes.
and say, yeah, it was a plus that I didn't have to fly coach, but this is still why I did it. Instead, she decides to make a joke about flying coach versus flying business class, whatever. And then when she starts to explain it, she gets so wordy and starts talking about some dog in Miami and all this other shit that it takes away from all of your credibility.
I actually
just sit-
listed. Friend got a puppy, Miami, surgery. Those were the three things that she had going
Yeah.
on. And all you have to say is surgery,
Surgery,
business class,
don't want to fly coach.
period.
Why? I just got surgery. Why would I want to fly coach?
it.
I'm already uncomfortable. I don't want to be more uncomfortable.
That's it.
Boom.
And
Great.
if you are insecure about being around all the group is gorgeous. Every woman in this group is beautiful. So are you.
Yeah. But
And
it-
you
but then
walk
if-
in the room wearing a fucking dress
know.
that shows off all of your skin.
Well, she was tan.
But
Got a
here's my
massage, feeling
thing,
good.
dude. This is where I'm like, okay, well, I feel like you're just setting yourself up to try to look
Yeah.
better because if that's the case, you've been talking about wearing a burqa on the beach all week.
Mhm.
Even if you did, that's the thing. She's saying, I'm going down early to get my base tan. That was already set in stone. But even after she says that, she's like, but I'm still going to be wearing, I'll be fully clothed on the beach. The first instance that we get to see you, you're wearing a dress that hangs very low in the back. Like it shows off a lot of skin. There's nothing wrong with that. She looks fantastic. But have some feel, dude. Your first intro back into the group when they get to Anguilla Guila Glula, wear a sweater.
Yeah, I know.
Sell it. You know what? That's all. Just sell
That's
it.
where I kind of battle with myself about what Jenna's doing, and I can't tell because she did handle it a lot better than I thought when she got grilled.
She's able to brush
And
things
she
off.
smiled about it, and I think even Jessel came over and asked her if she was okay. That was a little rough, and Jenna was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Not a problem in the world." Like it's weird. It's almost like she anticipated all of that. Still had that shitty story about Miami and a friend's dog or whatever the hell happened, but it just doesn't make any sense. And I guess maybe I think she just needs to learn how to be with this group.
I think she needs to learn
She
how to
has
be with
no
a
idea
group
what's going
of
on.
women.
Yeah, I think that she thought because and this is the parallel that I drew. Up in the Hamptons, Uba came up and gave her a dress and said, "You really need to dress like this a little bit better. You're very sexy. You need to show it off. You need to do this, that, and whatever." She probably in the back of her head walking in here was like, "I feel really good. I feel sexy. I'm going to put this on. I feel great." Maybe these girls would look at me and be like, "Whoa, Jenna, you look great. Those couple of days were great." Instead, she got the backside. So I think she just kind of has to feel her way through this.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
as long as she has the
Feel.
right attitude, I'm okay with it. If she doesn't,
no,
as
that's
long as she doesn't start crying and running away and bitching and complaining about things, fine, whatever.
You just got to take your
You just
medicine,
gotta take,
right?
Yep,
You
just
gotta
got to take
your
the medicine and move on.
So but I think we can throw praise up to all the women in this group because when shit hits the fan, most of them do grin and bear it and move on from
Yep.
it. And I think we saw that again with Jenna. We'll see what happens next week as far as if she actually is upset or not. But
I think we'll move on just
think
based
we
off
will
of what
too.
we've seen.
I think we will too.
Yeah.
But the episode pretty much ends with what we were just voicing. Brynn says, like, we just need Jenna to be honest.
Uh-huh.
Just be honest. And that'll make everything so much easier. You don't have to throw up all these scapegoats and cop-outs. And even if they're not cop-outs, they're going to be scrutinized because of how you're setting them up.
Yeah.
But it's reunion season once again, and we finished our first season of Atlanta, which we both thoroughly enjoyed. Everybody else seemed to hate it, but we liked it. I loved this reunion episode as far as entertainment value goes. As far as talking points go, it was a lot of the same thing over and over again from different people.
Yeah.
So we're gonna jump right in, and I'm gonna try to highlight some of it. But the first thing that I want to discuss, let's start with Sheree. And Andy calls her out for having some work done. He says, "You're glowing," and she says, "I was having some problems breathing, so I went ahead and just had my nose done too." Now, if that was the original reason she got her nose done, who knows? No pun intended.
Nice. Didn't even
Yes.
catch that one.
I almost missed it. But this leads to like the big face, little face that continues to happen throughout the episode. And I don't know what that was. Big
I don't
face.
think
'cause she
anybody
was
knew.
swollen from
Yeah,
the surgery.
she kept saying, I thought she was talking to Kandi. And she was
she
saying
calling
that
Candy big face.
I think she was calling Kandi big face. And then later she said, no. I meant my big face was swollen and now it's a little face and it looks good.
Okay.
But when she was in the moment, I thought she was doing that. And you can see Kandi just like really confused about what the hell was going on. And then Andy asked for clarification. And that's when she said, well, yeah, I was swollen and now it's small.
Well, the thing about Sheree that I've noticed throughout this season, and they talk about a lot, is she the bone collector or the peacekeeper? And the majority of the group says both. And I
Yeah.
think that's the best
I
way
think
to
that's
put it.
true.
Because you see her a lot of the time try to keep the peace, but at the same time, she can't help herself but throw
Mhm.
some shade out there, which is actually part of the reason I really like Sheree.
Yeah, I agree.
But as I start diving into like her season overall, obviously a big talking point is Martell, and like Martell and Kenya specifically. And this is where it gets confusing because the way that she's talking and defending Martell and like their relationship, Kenya says that Bob and Martell were cut from the same cloth. And as we know, Bob has a secret daughter named Candace that came out of the woodworks out of nowhere. But that's when Kenny makes like the womanizer comment. She says that Bob and Martell are both womanizers. Sheree's still somewhat defensive of Martell, saying that they're not dating, but they still hang out. And apparently Martell's been throwing his dick around Huntsville, Alabama frequently. Yeah. We come to find out. So not great as far as trying to
Definitely
defend him.
not great, but you can tell a lot by Sheree's reaction to that. She didn't seem surprised.
No,
She
especially
even
when the
said
revenge
something
porn
like,
gets
when
brought
we
up.
were together, revenge porn is a, what's the fucking word I'm looking for? It's a felony.
Yeah.
Can't even bring it up. Shouldn't even bring it up on these reunions.
Oh,
People are throwing that shit around all willy nilly.
that's a good point because we see that that was the interview with Rachel
Yeah,
as
it's
well.
brutal.
Yeah, it is. Let's reiterate
Felony.
that it is a felony. We are not going to speculate on it.
No, we're not even going to talk about it. But you can set, like, I think Sheree's response was, when he's with me and when we're together, everything's good. It's fun. It's great. You know, whatever he does outside of that, I don't really know. And she just kind of trails off.
Yeah,
Like,
she
what
said,
so you know that he's doing this. I think that she just liked the companionship. I mean, look, objectively, he's a beautiful man.
he is
So he probably is going around Huntsville, Alabama, and just giving out dick for free.
big dick energy.
That's what he's doing.
He's BGE around Huntsville.
They could also, it could be arranged. Who the hell knows? She doesn't seem upset about this. She just seems like she knows what was going on and she took it for what it was and moved on and whatever.
It's just a
We didn't really get like the whole, how did it end? What
No.
happened here? What happened there? Like, no, none of that. It just gets hyper focused on, and I still do agree. How is it any different that Martell is in Kenya's DMs, but when you're talking about the guy that Marlo went on a date with, who Kenya is now dating, how is any of that any different? And then Kenya gives the dumbest explanation ever. He was in your DMs because he was commenting on a live.
That's not
That's
how
not how that works.
Nope, we can
It's
attest
not
to
how
that.
that works. Any live that goes up, there are thousands and thousands of comments.
Mhm.
If all of them went to your DMs, that would be an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
You would just have to burn down the entire Instagram, just get rid of it.
But that's what bugs me about Kenya when she is defending herself right? She will say whatever when she's going after another castmate.
Yeah.
And she seems to have evidence to her points. I'm not even going to say that she makes stuff up all the time. She'll bring receipts and she'll give good
Yeah,
examples.
like there were missing DMs from Martell to her that he
Right.
absolutely unsent.
Without a doubt. But my point here is when you go to defend yourself, don't just make things up.
No.
Don't just make things up because we all like that's what's crazy in a time where everybody has social media. Everyone knows how to use social media. You're not going to pull the wool over our eyes here.
No,
We understand how lives work. He slid into your DMs. Roy slid in to Marlo's DMs. They went
on a date.
That happened. It's
Yeah.
okay.
It is. It's okay. It's completely okay. I just think that Kenya is all offense, no defense.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And then jumping right off of that, they're starting to bring up Kenya's divorce not being over. And this was one of the funnier receipts I think I've ever seen because she starts throwing out, I guess there's contempt charges now, which is true. I saw an article about that. But her husband's trying to bring her up on contempt charges, saying that they put Brooklyn in a bad situation when Marlo was kicking the door. And we commented on that when it happened. Like, yeah, that sucked to see that Brooklyn was in there. But she says that Marlo got subpoenaed. She goes, yeah, well, like she pretty much serves her. Like
Yep.
I
I thought it was a full on
I
serving.
did too. I was like, wow, you got served.
Like, wow, 2 servings in 1 year.
She
It's
pulls
crazy.
it out and hands it to Andy. And I didn't know what and they cut to commercial. I'm like, oh my God, what's it
Yeah.
going to be? It's if you and I went to Google right now or Bing. Shut up, Bing.
Shut up, Bing.
And looked up subpoena paper and printed it.
Pretty much.
No, not pretty much.
That's exactly
Literally.
yeah.
That's exactly
And
what
then
it is.
her cover up was, oh, I printed out the wrong thing. It's like, no, you didn't. You didn't print out anything. There's nothing there.
No, it's a blank subpoena
Yeah.
that holds no
It's
weight.
ridiculous.
It holds absolutely no weight. But she said that she's going to be a witness for me, which honestly, hopefully Marlo is, where she could at least clear that up. And I don't think Marlo would be vindictive enough to be like, no, I'm not going to be a witness for you in that. Because she can say, like, yeah, we were filming a show.
The only way that she wouldn't is if Kenya keeps running her mouth about this and keeps going after Marlo.
Yeah, that's a
You
good
can't
point.
paint somebody who could be a positive witness for you in a negative light. Why would Marlo want to take the stand for you to help you out when you're being an asshole to her?
Well, I agree with
It
that.
doesn't make
but
any sense.
The flip side of that is Kenya's talking about Marlo's relationship with her ex, Mark. I guess not her ex, her current husband,
Yeah.
Mark. And I'm confused about that too. And it's also interesting because Marlo seems to now have a relationship with Ralph after the fact. Is she like, does she wheel and deal to try to get the dirt? Like, that's what I truly think that she
Possibility.
does.
I mean, it could also just be negative allegations that are just getting thrown around.
They showed the clip of her with Kenya's husband, and she does seem rather comfortable. I'm not saying anything's going on like that. I'm just saying, to Marlo's character, I don't know. I could see her being
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I could
get a little
definitely,
dirt.
I could see half of this cast doing something like that, though. They're always looking for a little bit of dirt. They're always looking for a little bit of a leg up on somebody whenever they get into an argument. I think the best part about all of these arguments is they will yell and scream over each other and just keep going back and forth with crazy insults, and then they'll both laugh it off.
Yeah.
They both sit down and they both laugh it off.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm actually kind of bummed if they reboot it that we're not going to get like the follow up to some of this next season. So I'm curious what they're going to do because for all intents and purposes, it was a good reunion episode. But the next thing they're talking about, it's kind of Sheree versus Kandi, and I didn't know that these two were at odds as much as they were.
Neither did I.
Like I thought they were okay. I didn't
think they were friends, but I didn't think
thought
that
they
they
were
were.
fine.
Yeah.
Not to the point where Candy's calling her a low down nothing ass bitch, which is a new favorite line of mine. I'm gonna start calling you that. But they keep going in like back and forth and back and forth. And to one up Kandi, we get She News, which
is fucking hilarious.
amazing. And I wish that we had a copy of She News. It even looked like laminated or just
It
like
looked
really good.
awesome.
Like
It's
cardstock.
such a funny thing, and like I love how prepared Sheree came because everybody comes with their envelopes, right? Kenya whips out this little piece of paper that has nothing on it that she just pulled out from nowhere that was in some weird envelope. Sheree has a full thing going on.
She has a
We're gonna
bag,
get
she
more
has a
next episode
folder.
too. She's got so much shit going on there. It looks awesome. There's so many different things in there. She rips all the ladies' fashion choices throughout the year. She rips all of Candy's restaurants. She throws in negative headlines. It is so well put together that even Kandi was laughing at it.
I mean, you had to laugh at it,
Yeah.
but it is interesting, and this is what I think happened. I think that Sheree watched the season in its entirety,
Mhm.
saw the behind the scenes of Kandi, and like Candy's MO for at least as far as we know her watching the season, she'll say a lot of like little comments in the confessionals. Like she'll throw a dig here, a jab there. They don't feel like overly mean or
No, not
aggressive
at
or
all,
anything.
yeah.
It's just like a little dig.
It's just candy.
But it seems like those got saved up by Sheree because she gets so sensitive about She by Sheree, and she's always defensive of, it being a legitimate company and all that shit. This She News was aimed pretty much directly at Kandi. The first 6 pages are at Kandi's restaurants and all the bad headlines that they've gotten.
Yeah.
And then the last 2 pages are aimed at Tags, her store, and saying like, this is being sold for $9.75 and at your store it's for $65. It's like, well, we don't know the parameters. It could be like a a consignment store.
Yeah,
and the other one
could
like,
be
who the fuck
anything.
knows. But it is nice that she finally gives Drew her bag, her She by Sheree bag, because that was a whole thing. And this is when we get into what this episode was mainly about, and that's Drew. And this is what the season was about, was Drew. But the first topic is The Pass, the movie that she did with Kandi and Todd. And I'm glad that the first thing they brought up about it was the Lifetime or above thing. Because this movie's on Peacock right now. I'm not saying it's, Oscar worthy, but it's
Wouldn't be on Peacock if it wasn't tied to Kandi, though.
Absolutely not.
No,
But it doesn't matter.
No.
Because it is on Peacock. Like, there's going to be, hopefully, residuals and stuff like that. There's going to be kickbacks from this movie. In my mind, Peacock, direct to Peacock, is Lifetime adjacent.
I would say so.
You know what I mean? Like, that seems like the same thing to me. And I don't understand still why Drew would take that shot at Kandi when she's doing her a favor, putting her in her movie like that.
Yeah, that's still kind of the same type of thing that we saw with Heather. It's just they think that they're so much higher up than they are. You're on a reality TV show. Yes, you're on for, 15 weeks a year. There's all this shit going on. It's a huge show that a lot of people watch, but it says absolutely nothing to your acting career.
No.
Legitimately nothing to your acting career. So the whole scapegoat of, well, my agent was going through offers that I got, and she just threw that one out because it was only $10K. And then Todd gave me a call the next day and said, hey, what's going on? Do you want to do this movie with us? I don't know if you saw the offer, blah, blah, blah. And, I wanted to do it because, I just wanted to do it as a friend. But, 10 days to shoot an entire movie is pretty rough. And I just don't think that I could do that again because usually I get a lot more money than that. What do you mean usually you get a lot more money than that? What have you done?
Nothing. And she also
you
said...
can't akin it to you being, 16 years old on a Disney show or something. Like, that doesn't make any sense. That's 20 years ago. It's just not how that works anymore. You can't get paid the same way. It's not like all of a sudden your rate goes up with inflation over the last 20 years.
No.
It's just not. You're getting
stuff.
She's doing you a good favor. There's no way that you would have been in this movie or had anything like this movie that would be on Peacock now if you weren't on this show. Just take it, say that you're doing a favor to a friend, and that's fine. When in reality, she's doing a favor for you.
I guess that's the way I look at it. Is Kandi did her a favor.
Yes.
Todd did her a favor, not vice versa. Drew seems to think, look, Drew, you had a good year as far as your career goes. You're singing again, like your music videos out there. You got an acting role. You got the lead in the movie. All positives. Chalk that up to a win. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. That doesn't make any sense to me ever. But this is what leads into drama between Kenya and Drew. And when Kenya saw the disparaging remarks that Drew made about Kenya's acting career while she was watching the season, she tweeted something out about it, dragging Drew's career, saying like, when your career was dead in the water, like I didn't say shit about you, which is partly true. But if you look back during the season, Kenya was talking shit about Drew's production for her music video, saying that it was like a dollar store production pretty much, or a knockoff Beyonce video, whatever. That's the same thing, and this is what drives me nuts with Kenya. This is why everyone's like, why don't you like Kenya? You guys are so hard on Kenya. Because of the double standards, because of the hypocrisy. It is the same thing. You shit on her, she shit on you. It's the same exact thing, just because you got your feelings hurt more, maybe, or I don't know. But I don't know.
Did at least kind of apologize.
Sort of.
She said it was meant to be in jest, which I do think it was meant to be in jest.
I don't.
I think that, I think that Kenya does a lot of things in jest, but it doesn't mean that they're not mean.
I don't
Like,
think
you can't make a joke at somebody's expense and
I think that she leans. I do think she makes a lot of jokes, but I also think that she leans on the "I was joking" thing when she was not, more so than other people. But moving on from that, we start to dive into the Latoya situation, and Kandi says that she let it go originally. So we saw that little clip of Kandi's show, and she was talking to Drew, she was talking to Latoya, I guess, about the kiss, and she said, I thought I saw it. If I didn't see it, maybe I was wrong. And we all saw that at home and went, oh, well, maybe it didn't happen. Kandi then goes on to say, like, no, it happened. I know it happened. I did that to smooth it over, to just move past it.
makes sense.
That does make sense. And I trust Kandi. But when we start to dive into it a little bit more, right, and Marlo starts to question things, and then Candy's like, I know for a fact that it happened. when we start going through it, nobody actually did see them kiss. At least that's what I got from them. They saw their faces close, sure.
Mm-hmm.
They saw arms around each other, sure. Now, do I think that this is a big deal? I do not. Do I think that it takes this level of investigation to try to get to the bottom of this? I really don't. I think that it's like a ho-hum, whatever. Did they kiss? Didn't they kiss? I don't know. But there's no permanent, like, there's no like actual, yes, I saw like mouth to mouth.
Yeah, and again, it could have just been completely avoided if Drew didn't make such a big deal out of it.
But the other part is that she lies all the time. And
She
then
does. She lies all the time. But again, you and I are sitting here saying it's not that big of a deal. Originally, when they brought it up, everybody said, "Oh yeah, it's not that big of a deal. Like we just thought you kissed. We were joking. It was just like for fun in the middle of this conversation when we were talking about that trip." You could have downplayed it then and not made it such a big deal. But because you harped on it episode after episode after episode, and you were going after Courtney, who's supposed to be your family, and now everybody loves to say pretty much what we said all season. You met her yesterday. She's not your fucking family.
Yep.
Move on. Who gives a shit? But you go back to that, and now all of a sudden you're condemning her, who you said was your cousin, and now you're going after her because she said bitch over and over, and like that's a whole thing now. It just didn't make any sense. You could have just left it alone, and it would have gone away.
yeah, which by the way, Courtney doesn't do herself any favors. She will bury herself.
Oh,
as
yeah.
she did towards the end of the season. Like she started off shit. She had a good midterm because she
Mhm.
didn't do much, and then ended terribly. Like
Yeah.
she is the villain of the season. Pretty clearly, everyone else just had their own beef with each other. But I think Courtney is who you would tag like the actual season villain.
Probably Ralph, actually.
No, I mean Ralph. Yeah, Ralph. Ralph and Courtney. But again, there you go. Like the Ralph and Ralph's quote unquote cousin are the problem. But it's just interesting because every like tie within this group seems to be severed. Like
Mhm.
Drew and Kandi are completely at odds to the point where Drew's like, I understand now why Ralph left. You probably gaslit him. And she questioned her sister's mental illness because she's like, you lie all the time to the point where I don't know if this is true until she got proof from Allison herself.
Yeah.
For somebody to say that they don't believe you about a mental illness until they see that person in person is a scathing indictment of who you are. Like that's a scathing indictment of your character. And that's when Drew's like, what have I lied about? What have I lied about? It's like you go through even this past season, there's examples. And clearly from seasons that we haven't seen, this is not the first time we've heard that Drew is a liar, but she ends her shit with Kandi and goes, I just want to know if we're cool now. Fuck no. Not even kind of. You guys are not cool. Because of what has just transpired on this stage, you're probably not okay now.
No.
Because you had a chance to rescind you shitting on her movie. You doubled down. You had a chance to smooth things over with her. You did not. But let's finish this up. Let's tie a bow on it with Ralph and Courtney. All right. So we find out the connection that Courtney has to Ralph. It's her dad's sister, aka your aunt.
I love
I
that
know.
every time.
I know.
That happens in every fucking show, and I
know,
never
I don't know,
understand.
why is that a trope? Why is that a
I do
Bravo
not
trope?
know.
Just say your aunt.
Yeah.
Your aunt is married to Ralph's uncle. There's no blood.
Nope.
There's no real relation. And here's where my theories start coming in. Okay, we talked about Tampa during the news earlier. Am I going to sit here and make a bold claim such as Ralph is hooking up with his cousin? No.
Damn, I thought you
Could
were.
I see that being true? Abso-fucking-lutely.
Okay, all right. Lean into it. Go bold claim.
I did. I thought that was like me setting it up.
That was half-assed.
Look, I could definitely see Ralph strikes me as the person that would like look at Courtney and be like, damn, like I want to like make this work, whatever. I want to like find my way in
Would
there.
explain why she's around so much.
I'm just saying, if you look, you start to piece things together. Again, it's a bold claim. I get it, but not really because they're only related like halfway through marriage, kind of. Like she's the
Second
unverifiable
cousins? I don't
cousin.
even think that's.
I don't know what
There's a removal in there. I think when there's no.
twice once removed.
Sure.
Who gives a shit though? But could I see that being a thing? Absolutely. Like there's no doubt in my mind that could be a thing.
There's no doubt in my mind because not even for really what Courtney's doing, although she is standing up for Ralph a lot more. And again, that
But
still
why?
goes to
That's
that. It
weird.
still goes to the weird family thing that makes no sense. But also because Ralph's a huge scumbag.
He's a huge
So of
scumbag.
course, yeah, that could
So
possibly
immediately
happen.
my head goes there, and then when you say things like we became fast and furious cousins,
Yep.
you know where my head immediately goes? I'm like, oh, gross.
Yeah.
you
Family.
guys
Fast and Furious.
fast about family. Family.
Corona.
Corona. Family. But it is good news to see Sonia is 4 months pregnant, I believe. 4 or
Yeah,
5
she
months
said
pregnant.
she's due around Christmas.
Christmas Day, she said she's
Yeah.
due. So that's amazing. Good for her and Ross. We love to see that. I'm glad they're doing well. obviously after sharing a very traumatic miscarriage with us, the audience, and the world, it's nice to see that they are on the come up, so good for them. But it ends with a lot of question marks, and we get Courtney defending Ralph to Drew, which is wild to me. It's absolutely wild that she is now on Team Ralph when she doesn't, like you said, there's no involvement there. That's when I start to question things. I'm like, how close are you
I
guys?
guess the same could be said about the other side. There's no involvement with her and Drew. Drew's been an asshole to her, so why would she defend Drew? She's
Right.
defending Ralph because
But she
Ralph's
doesn't-
nice to her. I don't.
Don't get involved.
I'm not condoning any of it.
No,
I'm
no,
just
I
saying,
know.
you know. But of course, she's gonna get involved because she's on the show and she wants to have a spot next
I
year.
understand that, but like as you start to dive into all of Drew's shit, like the question marks, is she dating Ty Young? Did she have a thing with Ty Young? She says that she was a crush on set. Could that have been blown up because of Ralph and Courtney? Yeah, that makes a whole lot of
Yeah.
sense to me. If you have those two idiots on the sideline, like, oh, like Drew's doing all this nonsense, like,
Although it seems like it's not. I mean, there's tabloid
don't
pictures of the
either.
two of them out together still. If it was just an on-set crush, you're not still hanging out with that person alone
But
at
I guess the
clubs.
speculation from Courtney and the way she's going about it, especially with that quote unquote off camera moment that we got where she's like, yeah, like adopt the kid so that she can go hang out with her gay lover. Like, fucking horrible thing to say.
Yeah.
And I'm glad, you know, Drew pissed me off this reunion, honestly, because she really didn't take a whole lot of accountability, which she hasn't really all season. And she's in a position where she's kind of slighted. If you, not kind of, like Ralph is a
Yeah.
fucking monster.
Yeah.
So you could have came into this much more like peaceful and much more calm instead of trying to defend yourself to Kandi and then burning that bridge with Kandi. This last instance, like, I'm glad at least she dragged Courtney for talking shit about her kid. Like, that's fucked up. The adoption thing is fucked up. Courtney is the sleeper villain of the year, honestly.
Could be. Honestly, could be. I mean, we're going to have to see because next week it looks like Ralph is coming out, which is going to be wild.
I
The
can't.
fact that he's even there is crazy. And then they're going to have Drew perform in the middle of the reunion,
Really?
which apparently she just walks away and starts crying from.
Well,
I don't know. It's just the whole fucking. The fact that we're only getting 2 episodes is wild. They're going to have to put together a lot of things next week. Hopefully, we're really in for it and we have a ton to talk about because really what we're talking about now is just speculation
a lot
and
of
the
speculation.
way that people handle arguments and did they burn a bridge here because it's something that they said. And it's really tough, like content wise, to cover all of it. Like I said, or actually, like you said in the beginning of the review, it was wildly entertaining. It was really fun to watch, but we didn't get any new information. We just got some hatchets being buried and some hatchets being uncovered, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's a
Hey,
good way to
that's,
put
you know,
it.
hopefully next week's a little bit more core to what we've been dealing with all season. We get some answers.
That takes us to the question portion of the show. From Daria PNG, is Carl a coward?
That's the first one I read too.
Why?
Why is Carl a coward?
We don't know. Here's my thing about the Carl Lindsay stuff. We have no idea what's transpired on either side. It's really interesting to see on both sides people jumping to everybody's defense and dragging the other person when we do not know. Like, we have inklings and rumors on this side of it. Like, Shooter and I, we get to hear like a couple of things that you guys don't. But that being said, when I tell you that there's stuff coming from both parties, we really don't know what happened. Like, we don't know.
I
who's
have
at
no
fault.
idea. I've heard that it's amicable. I've heard there was cheating. I've heard that everything was put on display on the show.
I've
which
heard
is
that
crazy.
the mom is the reason
There's-
that they.
yeah, it's
There's a lot of speculating. So
the show one kind of bothers me a little bit because I'm worried that they're drumming up ratings by doing something on the show, and then we're gonna watch and we're not gonna get any of the story really.
that's fair. I don't know.
I think they. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But I
No, I don't think
I
he's a
don't think he's a coward. I think there's not enough evidence to point at anybody. From Mr. Jared Barnes, our friend Jared, you think low ratings and reboot rumors made the ladies put on this reunion performance? Possibly.
No, I mean this is actually exactly what I expected from an Atlanta reunion. Kind of all over the place, but wildly entertaining. I feel like next week we'll get a little bit more answers and it'll be a little more pointed. But for the most part, I think it's just going to be wildly entertaining once again. So I don't really think any of them are putting on a show necessarily, except for maybe Courtney. But
Yeah.
again, this is like her first reunion, so you never really know what to expect from a newbie. I feel like everybody else was kind of their own person. They didn't really jump out at me.
No, it just, again, it was not a lot to discuss, but really entertaining TV. Moving on from B. Oh, man. It's either Beager MS or B Germs. BEAGERMS. Bay Germs.
Bay germs.
Bay Germs. Thoughts on Brynn criticizing Jenna for not sharing her life when we have not seen her house? I think Brynn shared more than enough of her life to criticize Jenna for not sharing hers.
There's more to life than the physical things that you own.
Wow.
Bee germs.
Bee Germs. Shooter's got deep on you. From Jen Robles. This is just a funny one. Never watched the old RHONY. Cool.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Oh, there's a follow-up to that.
Oh. Yeah, there is.
She
Oh,
absolutely loves the new RHONY. Was tired of the old hags.
JK.
JK.
But I really never watched the old RHONY. Oh, okay.
No.
No, that's not as fun. Jessica Brandeberry, and this is a good one. Did Shooter ever see Barbie? And that brings me to my final point. Barbenheimer, we need to pick a date.
I don't know if these movies are still in theaters.
They are. They are. So when do you want to go?
Ideally, probably during vacation would have been a great time to do
Yeah,
it.
I needed you to coordinate with me. Let's say next week. Loosely
Yeah,
next week.
Throw it loosely next week or the week after.
All right, so get your last minute applications in. I'll be reaching out to a few people to let you know that you've been not selected, but you're in the running.
Yep.
And then we will make a decision.
Dwindle it down.
I will not lie. I've had so much going on, like end of summer, I totally forgot.
Yeah, no.
But we
We
don't
settle
forget
down in the
anymore.
fall and we watch our TVs because football's back.
Football's back, baby. And guess what? For the next, hopefully until February, you are going to hear the Eagles theme song in every fucking episode.
22 weeks.
Starting on Friday. I'll give you a reprieve today. But after that, fly, Eagles, fly. You got anything else?
Nope.
All right, go Birds.
Bye.